Milli Vanilli went down in history as being the poster child for being a fake band. But were they really fake? Well, that's the subject of today's Idea of the Day. When Milli Vanilli came out, they were huge. In a nutshell, they were the biggest act in show business for a little while. They won the best new artist. They won awards for being the most popular band, the American Music Awards, etc., etc. And they were just flying high. They were everywhere. And then all of a sudden, controversy hit. It was found out, which I find funny, found out that they were lip syncing in their music videos and even on tour. And it was a huge deal. It was such a big deal that their Grammy for Best New Group or Best New Artist was revoked. And on the day that had happened, this was like 1990, 91, somewhere in that ballpark, all I kept saying is, what do you mean they're fake? There's no such thing as a fake band. There could be a fake performer, but is there a fake band? Put it to you this way. In the 1960s, there was a cartoon show called The Archies, and they played music that was sung by the Archies. Now, it could be said that the cartoon characters were lip syncing. But we all know that behind the scenes, there was really a band called the Archies that actually used their music for the cartoon. As far as I was concerned, and I've had this in my head since the early 90s, there was no reason to remove or take away the award for Best New Artist or any other accolades that Milli Vanilli earned, simply because two guys were no different from a cartoon character lip syncing it. There really was a band. That's the point. If it wasn't for MTV being such a big deal and music videos being such a big deal, anyone listening on the radio would care less whose voice it was. They wouldn't even necessarily know what they looked like. For all we cared, they were cartoon characters. So as far as I was concerned, as soon as they took away the award for Best Group or whatever other accolades they earned, what should have happened on that day was the people who really did play in that band, the people who really did sing in that band, should have just been given the award. They shouldn't just remove it as if it never existed. They should have never treated the Milli Vanilli band poorly at all. They should have just said, all right, look, there's a couple other guys behind the scenes. Here they are. Here's the real band. But why didn't that happen? In fact, the weird thing about it was that at that particular time when all this was happening, the guys who actually were behind it, they actually did put out an album called The Real Milli Vanilli. And for what it's worth, I wasn't a big Milli Vanilli fan one way or the other, but to me, I've heard some of that music, and it's pretty much sounds just like Milli Vanilli, because the same people were behind it. But that album never took off. It was kind of buried. I think that's kind of weird. So here we are, like 35 years later, or 37 years later, whatever happened to those guys? I know the other two Milli Vanilli guys, one guy died, which is tragic. In fact, he died just before they actually put together an album, which is kind of sad, of them actually singing with their own voice, as if anybody needed to hear their voice. But the people behind the original Milli Vanilli, why aren't they still singing? Why aren't they a real band anymore? That's just something that makes you go, And that's today's Idea of the Day. All right, there it is. That's today's Idea of the Day. Some of them are pretty good, right? And some of them suck, I admit. First to admit, some of my ideas suck. But if you visit Idea of the Day every day and you subscribe to my channel by looking at the subscribe link in the corner, you'll see a brand new idea every single day. And I promise you, some of them don't suck.